to another edition of All Things Irish and Rock and Roll. Today in the studio we're joined by the great Hugh Buckley, one of the finest jazz players to ever come out of Ireland, and I mean that sincerely. And for people that have not seen Hughie playing, it's well worth going and checking him out. He does an amazing gig. Hughie, welcome.
Thanks, Brendan, for the old promo. Nice one. I love it.
Lovely, yeah.
I love it.
So basically, it's like what we ask everybody, really.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about your influences,
Yeah.
how you got involved in the music.
Yeah, yeah.
Like probably through your family or whatever. I know you have a famous family of
Yeah,
musicians.
yeah.
So we can take it from there.
There's a couple of good musicians there, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I suppose, love of music came from the family thing. Like, me dad played and my uncle played. My uncle, Richie, or Dick, as he was known, who's he was the father of Richie and Michael. Who were two saxophone players.
Yeah.
So world-class saxophone players, I would say.
Yeah.
I hope they're not watching this. I don't.
And you will,
give the big heads.
Yeah, I had Richie out here one time a few years ago. Yeah.
Oh, great.
He played on a track for me. I did a bit of recording here with Noel Bridgman, and he came out and he obliged me. He played some great saxophone player.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. I know he played with Van Morrison.
Yeah.
And
for years. Yeah.
Is he still doing Van Morrison gigs?
No, he hasn't done Van in a while, but he's doing lots of other things.
Okay, that's enough about him. Let's talk about you.
I know. Talk about Richie. And, so Richie was an influence on me, actually, to be honest, getting started playing and all that, you know. So, but yeah. There's music in the family. My earliest memories of the music thing, was like a lot of people here in Ireland, up in my granddad's place, Cabra, he lived in Cabra. And every Sunday, everybody be there, and everybody be playing. There'd be piano and guys playing the accordion. My granddad played accordion, I think it was harmonica and whistles, and the aunts be doing Irish dances. So there was always something going on, like, that way, all right. But I suppose then, my dad actually, Sean, he played in bands, he played function, he dances and stuff like that.
Yeah. Will it be in the big band area?
In dance bands. Yeah, but it wasn't big bands. He played some Cayley bands and things like that,
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of Michael Morden. Did you ever hear him back in the day, Michael Morden? Yeah. But anyway, he had a Cayley band actually, and he played a lot with those guys anyway. But he would have been playing the music at home as well and learning tunes, learning songs. So some of my earliest memories was him rehearsing in the house with Eddie Creighton. Did you know Eddie Creighton?
Guitar player, I do indeed, yeah. Eddie was a fine player, yeah.
Yeah, he's a fine player. Yeah. I met him actually a couple of weeks ago. Actually, he came to a gig, which I hadn't seen him in a while.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, because he was a huge friend of the family and an influence on me. He showed me my first chords and all that.
Good way.
Eddie did, yeah. Yeah, so he was in the house. Actually, I have a great memory of the two of them in the house, and they were learning. What's the name of the song? Marmalade. Reflections of My Life. Remember that song?
I do indeed,
yeah. Lovely, like guitar solo on it as well, actually. Yeah, it's a great song, but that would have been my earliest memories, is seeing someone playing guitar and that, because the actual guitar and playing along. So
what was the band that Eddie played in again?
The Movement.
The Movement, yeah.
And I think Billy Brown later on, was it Billy Brown?
Billy Brown he was,
that was
that's
kind
the
of
Freshman, wasn't it?
Before my time, yeah.
That's right,
yeah. So he played with him and, But it's great to see Eddie recently, actually, when we had a good chat. We're going to meet up again soon, hopefully, But
he played for years out in the Yalta Club as well.
That's right, yeah. He's a fantastic player. Yeah.
Great
player, lovely guy. So eventually when I was 16, I got a guitar myself anyway,
Yeah.
It was one of those situations where a friend of mine up the road was selling a guitar and I just thought I'd buy it, I don't know. I often think if I didn't buy it off him, would I ever played? I think I probably would because I was mad into music, Radio Luxembourg, used to listen to that.
Of course, yeah. We all did, didn't we?
Every Tuesday night, like the top 30 and stuff. And I used to write them down, the top 30. My sister found a whole bunch of them in the attic there recently, actually.
Right, okay.
Where I've written the chart from number 1 to 30, all them. That would be about 1971 or something around that time, But so it was really it. So I got a guitar, bought off a friend of mine, Kevin McConnell, £30
£30.
guitar and amp.
Can you remember the name
I
of the
don't
guitar?
even know where it was. It
No,
was
no,
obviously
was
it was a copy of
Legman or something like that.
Telecaster or something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Oh, I had an Egmont amp actually. That was one of the first amps I had. Yeah, Egmont amps. Do you ever hear Egmont amps?
The Egmont
There was
amps,
Egmont
yeah,
guitars. I said,
Yeah.
that's the only time I ever seen one.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I got guitar, and then we formed a group, garage band, thing, and then eventually started getting some gigs, and we're playing all the stuff we could play.
Yeah.
More than what you wanted to play and stuff like that. I remember one of the earliest things I learned was Hideaway.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah,
The John Mayall.
Yeah.
A version of it anyway with the Clapton, isn't it?
Clapton with the Blues
Yeah,
Brothers,
yeah. Remember Eddie Creighton gave me that album.
Did he
Actually, that's
really?
how
Yeah.
I got it off that, So so like most people in those days, it's off the
The record.
laying out the record, and then if you scratch a little bit, then it's gone. That's
gone,
it.
yeah.
But that's the way you learn.
That's right, yeah.
And the fantastic thing about it is that it really improves your ear,
Yeah.
or it develops your ear. Where
Because you have to listen.
Yeah.
You want to listen.
we know a lot of
Yeah.
people are learning from tabs and all, and they're not really hearing it. I find in a way,
no.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you have to really get and also you get the vibe of the record as well.
Yeah.
Just the energy and all that.
Yeah.
From that. Anyway, so
Definitely,
I start doing that. And I remember one of our first gigs was a nice little gig we had. We were, I think I might have been still 16 actually. We were good, but we did support to the Horslips out in Red Islands.
Oh, Red Island. Yeah.
Do you remember Red
I do
Islands?
indeed, yeah.
I think
First that was
probably-
Scaries or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Scaries, that's where it was.
Yeah.
But it was a lovely gig, and I remember the lads were great. The lads used the drum kit and all. And my cousin, Pat Hayden, was playing drums on it. And so that was the start of me getting gigging on that,
Did you play like a lot of rock and roll and blues?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I should have said that. Yeah, I was into rock and soul and some blues stuff, so it was a whole mishmash of stuff, just trying to just play anything,
And then just the developing from that into the jazz.
Yeah, well that came a little bit later. I mean, there's jazz in the family, and obviously that's how it would have came,
Yeah.
But Dad had an interest in jazz actually.
Yeah.
And he played a few records for me, Charlie Parker, I remember, and he was showing me the thing. And at the time, it was a bit, I couldn't get it at all, it just sounded like a whole bunch of notes and
mishmash.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it
Like
can
it is
do,
to a
yeah.
lot of people if you don't, It's like any type of music, really, well, not any type of music, but, any sort of, stuff that's a little bit off the beaten track bit, So, and my uncle, Dick, as I said, who's Richie's dad and Michael's dad, he was out playing on the scene, so I remember him saying to me, I'm playing with this guitar player, Louis Stewart,
Oh, right.
So I went down to see him playing a few times there with Louis, and I'm chasing it. I'd never seen that like it in my life,
He was amazing, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was strumming a few chords and stuff and playing a few little leads and stuff like that, But Louis is on another planet,
Yeah.
And I remember going regularly enough, at the start, but when I saw him playing, I thought, I'd never be able to play that sort of stuff or anything,
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand or anything. But then I heard a few albums. I heard George Benson, Breezing album. I don't know if you know that one.
Yeah.
It was out in the mid-70s, and it was a big hit. He sings on it as well, but he plays some great guitar,
Yeah.
some great jazz guitar, And then also on RTE television, which was really a surprise, I saw, because you wouldn't get it these days on RTE, Joe Pass is one of the great
of course.
jazz guitar players. And he was playing like a solo concert. Yeah, just him playing himself, and it was like an orchestra and guitar. So straight away I said, geez, I seen there's another world out there,
Yeah.
And the fact I was in the family, and also Richie had started getting into playing some jazz stuff as well, at home with his dad,
Yeah.
I remember the room, the front room when they go into two of them be playing away. So eventually I was able to sit in with them and, strum a few chords and accompany them.
The spur all the way.
Yeah, and accompany them, yeah. Hadn't a clue what was going on.
That was in the commitment, wasn't it? You were spiraling.
Oh, spiraling, yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
So that got me into it, and then I got the bug, I suppose, really.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was just doing gigs. Actually, I was doing the old cabaret scene at that
yeah.
time. You know the old cabaret
Yeah,
scene?
yeah.
I mean, I got the gigs. I don't got calls for gigs, so I was doing them. And, you know, people like Laurie Hart's and all that.
Oh,
you
right,
know?
okay, yeah.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
and it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great getting out there playing, and I loved it and all. But then
All
I started-
experience, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant, yeah.
You know?
I know jazz, and I love those times, and I kind of miss them in a way. Still, you do, you know. Yeah, often through the journey in jazz, I often think, Jesus, you know, it was the right thing to get into this music that's kind of almost a minority thing, like, you know, rather than playing more mainstream music, you know, the kind of way, you know, you know. But at the same time, I was following something that I had a passion for, really, and my interest in music was harmony, chords, and stuff like that. I always had a real interest. So eventually, even the early stage when I was playing and all, I was listening to people like Steely Dan and things like that, where had great chords and all that. I just, and my dad had an ear for that as well, and he probably passed it on. So jazz kind of appealed to me in that sort of way, like, you know, in that way, sir.
But it was great the fact that like, you ended up like going to see the likes of Louis Stewart, and then you ended up playing with him.
Yeah. Well, actually, going to see Louis was amazing, actually. You know, because you've seen a world class player here in Dublin town. You know, I think the first times were in Slattery's. He used to have a gig in Slattery's down in the basement.
Well, the first time I ever seen him was in the Bag of Inn, actually. You know?
The Bag of Inn. Actually, I think I saw him in the Bag of Inn. Yeah. I remember it was a big queue because he had come home from London or something. Yeah, because he was in London for a few years. You know,
I was over
Ronnie
there,
Scott's.
That's right. Yeah,
he was in Ronnie Scott's house band.
Yeah,
but I remember he came home. There was a big queue down around the corner, like, you know, for a jazz gig.
He played a lot of gigs. I think he lived in London for a while.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he
was definitely there for about 4 years. Anyway, at least I don't know. Yeah. On that, but then
he had 9 albums.
Has he 9? Yeah.
9 albums. Yeah.
Yeah. I would have thought it was even more, but yeah.
9 of anyway.
Yeah. I mean, he was a phenomenal player and a great influence on the guitar scene here. I mean, the jazz guitar scene here. I mean, there's a lot of really good players here.
Yeah.
And it would be like due to him actually the influence passed down.
Well, funny enough, the first time I seen him was actually I was doing a few gigs back in the day with a good friend of ours, Norman Teeling.
Oh yeah.
You know, Norman's a fine jazz player too. You know. All rounder, great. He's a great player. Really,
I actually have a jazz album of his. He did years ago. Remember?
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether he gave it to me.
So was it Jazzing with the Shadows? Probably something like that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He does some Chet Atkins stuff as well. Yeah. He's
anyway,
he's a great player.
He says to me at the time. He says, "This guy is playing the Bag of Inn, Louis Stewart. Have you heard him before, Brendan?" I says, "No, I don't think so. It wouldn't have been my bag at the time, really. You know, as you said, it's a music of,
I know, I get that.
Of acquired taste, you know. It's like a pint of Guinness, you know. You either like it or you don't. You know the way.
You love it, don't you?
Lovely. Anyway, so it was like, so we went along, and as again, it was like a big queue to get in, you know. And Norman says, like, I know Louis, you know.
Yeah.
And he got to see Louis, and we got in, you know.
Yeah.
He got us in, and I said to him, and the atmosphere was brilliant. I actually loved it. No,
did you? Yeah.
I was knocked out. I thought it was brilliant. You know.
When I said the atmosphere was just all quiet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But everybody listening,
but everyone was listening.
Yeah, I know.
And that was the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get it at any other gigs. Unless you go to some of the traditional gigs, you might get it. You know that.
Yeah.
You remember that in the meeting place years ago. You're playing to your Christy Moore or some of the boys you'd be playing up there, you know. You come in and you'd be had a few boys again, and you'd be talking about it, and you'd be hear the
that is the jazz gigs.
You know, that was you know, back in the day, you know.
Yeah, it was.
But Louis was something else. Though,
yeah,
you know?
he was. And it was amazing how he became so good because like he learned to play here, and there was nobody really to influence him or anything like that, you know, and he wouldn't have been able to play with many people in the early days, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I know he played with Noel Keelan then.
That's right, yeah.
And Noel was a fantastic player as well.
Unbelievable.
That's another guy I got to play with eventually. It was amazing, actually. I mean, because to me, these were the gods, and then eventually I ended up getting to play with them. And I remember getting the call from Noel Keelan. My mother came in to me and said, Noel Keelan's on the phone. You know, what the hell? You know, because you know, it's great. And it's fantastic, and it was a gig, obviously, and it was great. But Louis, as I was saying, is amazing how he did develop that sort of world class playing. Yeah, just from working.
It was great. A guy from,
Dublin and
like,
stuff,
well,
like, you know.
well, a guy from Waterford originally.
Yeah,
born,
yeah,
born in
yeah,
Waterford.
yeah.
Lived in Blackguard, I think, or somewhere like that, was he?
In Walkinstown.
Oh, Walkinstown,
Yeah,
was he?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
He's Walkinstown. Yeah.
And incredible.
Actually lives around the corner from Richie, actually, you know. So
Yeah.
that's how my uncle and him are, you know, good friends. They played a lot together, you know, I think. But yes, that was amazing. I mean, that was a huge influence on me, obviously, you know, being able to see and hear a world-class player now. I never had lessons with him or anything like that because he used to teach, I believe, earlier on, but he wasn't interested in teaching at all now when I was coming up with the thing, all right.
Yeah.
I think his idea was, well, probably he didn't like teaching to start with, you know, and it's not for everybody.
Well, I believe he had a strange temperament. All right.
Oh, did he? Oh, well.
But we won't. Not.
Yeah. Should have me on.
Have me on. Yeah.
But sure. But
We won't go there.
but he wasn't into teaching it. I suppose his thing was the old school thing where you listen and you get the music yourself. You know, you do it yourself. And yeah. And in a way, it is the way to do it, all right. You know. So when I started getting into jazz, it was kind of a difficult thing in a way, all right, because you didn't have many records. I mean, there's no internet around, you know, and all that stuff. So I didn't have many records, especially a guitar. I mean, I would have had a few things at home, Charlie Parker, like saxophone, but I wanted to hear guitar, and you know, because that's what sort of appealed to me at first, you know. But eventually I started playing, and then I got a gig. You know, once I was out to play a few tunes, I got a gig in Slattery's basement myself on a Thursday night. So I had the Hugh Buckley quartet.
Yeah.
And
who was in that? Who was it?
It was different players actually
at
different
times.
Definitely Dave Fleming was on the bass.
Yeah.
You know Dave Fleming, Peter Ainscough. Did you know Peter Ainscough? The drummer.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
He would have played, and then John Wadham then would have been in later on as well.
Wow.
Yeah. And Johnny, actually, I played with Johnny for years and years, and I always say,
well regarded drummer.
Yeah, and I always say he's one of the most influential people on me personally, musically as well. Probably, you know, those years once I get into the jazz, because he was so knowledgeable of the music. Like he really knew not just the drumming thing. Like he played vibes and bass and stuff like that as well. So he knew the chords, and like, you know, if you're playing a melody or something like a Charlie Parker melody, and you might have one note wrong, he'd be playing the drums and he'd shout close.
Lovely.
You know, so straight away, you know, you said close. So you go home and suss it out. The next time I won't be close. I'll be on the nail the next time.
Yeah.
That was really.
It was a nice way of making it work, I suppose.
Yeah.
I like it.
Or he'd come down off the bandstand and he said, yeah, some of that was quite musical.
Yeah.
Some of that.
I love it.
I love it.
I love all them ones.
I love that. Yeah. He was great, and you'd be able to chat with him afterwards, and he'd be telling you about about the history of music and the music itself, you know.
Yeah.
And I'd be talking to him about the time feel and all that, and swing and all that. You know what is it and how, you know, and asking how am I doing, like, you know, and he'd be very helpful, like, you know, he's a really good guy. And I eventually got to tour him, and actually we did an album over in New York later on and stuff like that. And, I remember during the 90s we did a nice tour with Lisa Stansfield. You know that singer? I don't know if you know her. She'd be a soul pop singer.
Yeah.
She was really like a really
big
big act. But she was living here for a while in Dublin, and she hired an Irish band, and Richie was in it as well, actually, and myself and John Wadham. I can't remember who else was in it, but it was a brass section and all. But we went we played over at the film festival in Cannes.
All right.
You know,
Right.
So I was hanging out with Johnny on that whole trip, and then we went to England, and we were in London, and we got a train up to Liverpool. So I was hanging out with him all the time, having a few bevies with him. Well, he likes his drinks at early morning, mid afternoon, and then in the evening. He was a very sort of regimented thing. So I hung out with him there, and geez, I learned so much about all sorts of stuff. But definitely to do with the music, he was a great character, and he was a fantastic. Like, he was another world class musician. Like, you know, playing here. He was originally from England. I think he came over when he was about 16.
Yeah.
But he's he's a great guy, and of course he was a teacher as well. He taught. I think nearly everybody who played drums here who sort of did gigs at all, you know, went to him for a while at least. For lessons.
I know. Yeah,
it's true, isn't it? Like, you know, there's some great stories about him actually, but he probably not much you could tell here. I was a gas man. Yeah, yeah. So that was great. So I ended up doing a lot of stuff with him, and I kept working on the jazz thing then.
Yeah.
Really, like, I really got the bug, and then I started writing some music myself, you know. So I recorded a few albums, actually doing some original stuff, and you know, some of the standards and stuff, and Johnny's on one of the albums anyway. As I said, that one we went to New York, Dave Fleming and myself. But another big thing for me, actually, I was going to New York. I went to New York in the early 90s, about 91. And a great friend of mine, Dave O'Rourke, I don't know whether you ever heard of Dave O'Rourke, he's a jazz guitar player, but he's been living in the States since 89, I think, then anyway. He's been over there. He was a great help to me over there, because he was playing on the scene already.
Yeah.
And give me a place to stay, of course, you know. And he introduced me to loads of musicians. So eventually I started getting some gigs there and getting to know, you know, a lot of musicians there. You know, a lot of great musicians who I had on records and all stuff like that. You know, so I developed this relationship with a musical relationship with a pianist called James Williams.
Okay.
Who had played with Art Blakey and, you know, Dizzy Gillespie and all these guys, you know, and was playing, you know, with them at that time. I became friends with him, and actually went for a lesson with him. I remember I asked for a lesson. I just wanted to know about the music and stuff like that, you know, but it's supposed to be an hour lesson. We spent the whole day, like, listening to records and stuff like that, you know. So eventually I was able to get him over to the Cork Jazz Festival, you know. And I was in a position at that stage where I'd be able to bring over people from abroad, you know, and they look after it, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was able to play with him, and he was phenomenal. Like, he you know, really top of the range sort of. He world-class player who would play with all the greats.
Well, it was fantastic to be able to go and introduce foreign players into the country.
Oh, yeah. You know? Yeah, also,
Brilliant.
And he came here regularly eventually, you know, and I got to record 2 albums with him, and one fun. And my first album with him was amazing. It was with Peter Washington, who was a great bass player who has played with everybody as well. He booked him for the session. He had Darren Beckett was on drums, actually, who's a drummer from the north, from Northern Ireland, but he lives in the UK at the moment, but he was living in New York at the time as well. So that was fantastic to be able to do that. So here I was coming from, you know, you know, thinking, geez, I'll never be able to play this stuff to.
No, you know,
out just playing, I don't know. So it's geez,
it's amazing
I'm still
how life takes its course.
Yeah.
You know,
really. Yeah. But at the end, it's only music anyway. Jazz music is just music, you know, and it's not really different to a lot of other things, you know, really.
I think people like to complicate it, do they?
Yeah.
Complicate it, you know.
Yeah, and that's the thing as you get older when you're playing, you know, you try to make it simpler and maybe play less, leave more space. I mean, hope you do that when you're younger, but definitely as you get older, you're trying to fine tune it and just try and make a statement, you know. The strongest statement you have, as you can in the simplest way.
Searching the melody, you know,
that's
right.
Yeah. So I'm still, like, you know, practicing every day. When I say practice, I'm playing every day.
You're playing every day,
Yeah. I always say there's a difference between practicing and playing at home. Home, you know. I mean, practicing is kind of, to me anyway, it's something you work on that you will
eventually
that'll improve. But that you'll be able to grasp at some stage with regular practice, and then playing is just playing. But playing is probably...
Is it the same thing?
Well, maybe it is. Maybe it is. But sometimes you might have some sort of a concept that you want to work on, you know, and you work on that for a while. We're just playing tunes. And really, that's what you're going to be doing when you're down in the bandstand. So really kind of learn just to play a bit more as you're home and sort of, you know, actually play from beginning to end. Don't stop, play a tune through. Because you can start playing this, oh, gee, that's nice. What is that? And then stop and never play a tune all the way through. The only time you ever do it is when you're on in the bandstand, which is probably not the great preparation for it, you know. So it's, so I'm still doing that and still writing a bit of music. And actually my latest project actually as well, which is great. It's an organ trio, you know, hammered organ, guitar.
The Hammond B2 type of thing.
I love that. Yeah. I love that sound.
Is that the one with the pedals on the floor?
Yeah. Well, actually, the guy is using Hammond have this new sort of keyboard
Yeah,
thing.
oh, yeah.
And it really,
sampler, yeah.
it's as near as you ever get to it.
Yeah, it's a sampler,
Like it really
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yeah, because carrying those things around
No,
before.
you couldn't, no.
I mean, I
You
played
wouldn't
with
believe
guys before to play that, but
You want to fork your van.
I know, it's impossible. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, no,
I
yeah.
remember them big huge things in
I'm
the
not sure whether a
bass pedals on the
forklift
floor.
would hold it, would it? Yeah, I know, yeah.
No, I don't think so. You know?
But anyway, he played, but we have a
He's
trio
been a
now.
roadie in that band.
What's that? I know, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, jeez, I remember. Yeah, jeez, I remember doing one gig before out in there. It was out in UCD. It must have been one of the student gigs, but the stage was a huge, big thing. And you had to, you had to carry it up the side step onto the thing. Oh, Jesus, that was just
No.
It was mad. So yeah, but this thing actually is interesting for me now. This latest thing, I'm having great fun playing it. It's Scott Flanagan on the organ, who's a great player from Belfast.
Okay.
And Shane O'Donovan, a fantastic drummer from Dublin. Yeah. And what I'm doing like pop tunes from like the late 60s and early 70s.
Oh, right.
Stuff that I would have been influenced by.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe not even that, just tunes from that era that I think I can, put some sort of a slant on.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Yeah.
Jazzify them or something.
Yeah.
But we're doing sort of funk things as well and stuff as well. So I don't know, we're doing, I don't know what tune. Oh, we're doing Purple Haze, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, just kind of, and I Hear You Knocking, you know that? You know, 'cause that's one of the first tunes I remember, sort of. With Dave Edmonds, was it? Yeah.
Dave Evans, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's an old tune before. I think a guy Smiley Lewis had it in 1956 or something. I remember.
It was an old one, yeah.
Yeah, so we do a sort of James Brown version of that as well. And then we do a whole bunch of other things. Hey There, Lonely Girl. I don't really remember that. Like, hey there, Lonely Girl. Yeah, do that. And it's great on the organ and thing, Yeah. I just love the sound of organ and guitar and drums.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And it's
but when you
and it's a three-piece.
Playing the soul stuff anyway, the organ was really dominant, wasn't it, on the soul?
Oh, it was, yeah.
It used to have a great slant on the soul stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Brilliant, I loved it, yeah.
Oh, just on that, another guy actually who, I don't be name dropping too much here, but who I played with a lot and I became like good friends with was Georgie Fame.
Oh, right, okay.
Just on the organ thing, and he's one of my favourite artists, because what he did, he had a mix of the pop thing, like he had 3 number ones in the 60s actually, and then he had the blues and the R&B, and then the jazz thing then as well, He's done a great jazz album he did in 1989 called Poet in New York. It's one of my favourite albums of all time. Actually, it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
But I got to work with him a lot, and it was just fantastic because it suited my playing because coming from that sort of type of music and then having the jazz thing as well.
Yeah. No, that's creative, I think.
It was kind of everything I wanted, really.
Yeah, it's very creative.
Yeah,
definitely.
And of course, he was a great singer as well.
Yeah.
He was in touch with me recently. I was ill a little while there, a couple of years back actually, and he called me up and all, a couple of times. I was delighted, it was really nice to hear from him.
It's good news.
But he's fantastic influence as well. He would have been as well, because he would have introduced me to lots of different music as well. I suppose that's the great thing playing with different people, isn't it? Like you draw different things, you'd be. Like to put you onto different artists that you'd be checking out and then you're learning different things. So it's that's why it's a great thing. I mean, it never ends.
Not at all.
No, really, to me, I feel like I'm only starting out now. It's a bit late to be starting out. But you know what I mean? I feel like, geez, all of a sudden there's a new thing happening on this, And
I believe you worked with Ronnie Drew.
Oh, Ronnie, yeah. That was a fantastic experience. That was. I worked on his last album actually, which I don't know. It's probably around 2008, is it? I could be wrong on that now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's around that time. Yeah. Ronnie used to come into some of our gigs. He was good friends with Louis Stewart as well.
Yeah.
And obviously he played guitar. He was into like the.
Ronnie was well respected
the guitar.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Great character.
Yeah. But he used to come in and sometimes he'd get up and he'd do a tune with us.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, we had this gig in JJ Smith's.
Okay.
For nearly 15 years, Richie and myself and Miles Drennan.
Yeah.
You know who would be the famous Drennan family, Anto and Paul.
Anto was a fabulous guitar player. Lovely guy as well.
Great and they're a great family. Actually, our two families were very friendly, very close with each other. Like I still play with Miles and see Anto go up in that, you know.
Yeah.
But what I was saying, Ronnie would come in and he'd sing maybe the L triangle and we'd back him on it, you know, and we'd be throwing in a few, you know, jazzifying it a bit, you know.
Yeah.
So he was always saying, oh, geez, we'll have to record something there, you know. So eventually someone came up with the idea to do it, and there was a budget for the whole that, and I was asked to produce the album, which is amazing now. Now producing it, I mean, just, you know, I suppose you basically put the thing together and hired the musicians, and I did all the arrangements on it as well. But it was an interesting thing because Ronnie was ill at the time, you know, he had the cancer thing, so he wasn't in the full of his health, but he was fantastic when he came to the sessions. Like I remember at one stage we did one every week, you know, and one song, and sometimes he'd tell me the night before what song you're going to do, you know, and so I'd have to try and scribble out arrangements for the lads and all, you know. Dave Fleming actually was on bass on that, and I got Richie on a couple of tracks as well. You know, he plays fantastic on that as well. And Miles Drennan played piano. You know, so that was the band. You know, because he knew all these people. You know, I want to get people who he knew. But so we did kind of a whole bunch of kind of some of the old Irish ones. You know, the L triangle. A nice version of that actually, and Muddy Malone, and then I brought in a few guests, Damien Dempsey, you know.
Damien Dempsey, yeah.
And he did a lovely version of Shane MacGowan's Rainy Night in Soho.
Oh right,
yeah. So I remember I didn't know the song, and he said it to me the night before because I'd organised demo. I knew a demo from back. Actually, I used to teach him out in Ballyfermot.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
Demo's great actually, but you both of them had great mutual respect for each other, you know, the young and the older sort of people. Got them together. But the night before, actually, I had to learn the tune and again write out the things for the lads. You know. So it was a great session, and we finished the session, and but it was great fun during the thing. Ronnie's so funny, like he's such a lovely character and a lovely warm man as well, you know, really. And like a real legend. So that was a real honour to do that. And the album's out there. It's called A Fond Farewell.
Right.
And it's worth checking out. I mean,
I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, get it online. It's online. It's on
YouTube.
YouTube actually. The whole album there. You know, the way the album is. And it's it's definitely worked out. And it was great at the end actually, you know, for him to do his jazz project as well. So I felt great to be involved in that. It was a real honour, like, you know, just to, you know.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So
So all I can say to you is that let's hope there's going to be many, many years more.
Oh yeah.
Of it, you know.
Yeah.
In the meantime, so for all things Irish and rock and roll, Mr. Hugh Buckley. Thank you, Hugh.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for
It's
having me.
been great. Thanks
Fantastic.
for coming out.
Lovely.
Brilliant.